Hey there, troopers. Rabbit here, and I got a total of 30 gameplay tips to help you get better at Horde mode for Starship Troopers Extermination. Alright, so the first one we're going to talk about is the Sniper. So there's going to be 5 tips for each class. Alright, gameplay tip number 1, Sniper Nest. Look for high elevation that can provide cover from ranged units. Well, that might be obvious, but what you're probably gonna miss out on is looking for high elevation terrain that has a large enough platform where that if you have no horizontal cover, if you have a large like thing to stand on, then if you stand and or crouch in the middle, you'll be able to avoid gunner fire. It's all about that angle, right? And depending on how you position yourself, even a shipping container can block line of sight to a gunner, right? If it's on one end and then you move to the other end and crouch, there's probably a good chance that it will break line of sight. So that's what I mean by finding high elevation areas that have kind of a large footprint to it. Sometimes when you find these high elevation areas, it's not going to have any actual cover up there. So, if you are in that kind of position, just kind of keep an eye out for that, and hopefully the gunners don't take a liking to you. All right. So the next thing is you probably have sniped in a tower before while you're in base and you got absolutely shredded. Well, you really want to avoid towers, especially if they're going to be next to the mobile HQ. Those things really attract the ranged units. Not so much the gunners, but they do attract aggro from Grenadiers and Infernos. So, I mean, like, you don't want to be in there because your position is going to be lit up, and then you're just going to be dying a lot. Okay, so if there is no like high elevation platform that you can camp in, your only option is to make towers. Make one on the edge of the base. That way, it draws less aggro, and then hopefully you don't get eradicated. Alright. Moving into the next gameplay tip. If you're in the base, make sure you have the ammo crate near you along with first aid stim fabricators. What I like to do is try to find the nearest ammo crate, and that way I know that when I need to go back and get the ammo during combat, I know exactly where it is. And I don't have to spend the next couple of minutes like searching the base, like where's the ammo crate, right? Because I'm pretty sure we've all been there, done that. So before you pick your sniper nest, make sure you locate where the ammo is, and if you can, try to build it as close as you can to where you're going to be camping in. All right. Ideally, you'd have an engineer make one for you in your sniper's position, but that doesn't always work out because people don't always respond to voice and text communication in the game. Alright, so before I move on to the next gameplay tip, since we're on the thing about ammo, if you're going to be sniping with a XXX sniper rifle, make sure you grab the reserve magazines perk. It's really good. It gives you so much ammo for magazines. And don't even worry about extended magazines because in the long run, I think you'll have more ammo with the reserve magazines. And plus, for most bugs, it takes only a few shots to put it down, so you don't need to worry about like having a large magazine capacity. It's almost going to be a detriment to you because you're running way less ammo. Alright, next gameplay tip is provide suppressive fire in base breaches. So I know the objective of a sniper is to go after the ranged bugs, like gunners, grenadiers, infernos. But another thing that a sniper should be aware of is that when base breaches happen, you kind of need to stop for a second and assess the situation. How effective are you going to be able to shoot down there and not hit anyone? That's like one thing you got to worry about. The next thing is, are the base defenders going to be able to close that gap up? And is anyone actually responding to the base breach? So all these kind of variables will be something you have to, think about when you're looking at a base breach. I typically nowadays like to respond to the base breaches as much as I can and put a couple bugs down, reassess the situation. Does it look like the defenders have it under control? Do you see an engineer going out there? So, I think about it and I'm like, well, I think they can or I think they can't. If I think they can handle the situation, I'll move on to the next target of opportunity. If not, I will continue to kind of snipe the bugs here and there. But yeah, that's something for you to think about. Right? This is just a suggestion, of course. All right, and then the next thing is if you see an enemy and this is in like a low light situation, like pitch black, it's nighttime, in a thunderstorm, sandstorm, anything like that, right? Snowstorm, and you have the perks to like highlight the bug when you ping something, go ahead and ping it. That way it'll let the team know something is out there, and then they can direct their fire towards the target and help you take it out quicker. All right. Also, you should be pinging stuff anyways, because the best perks for this class are the ones that will scan the target, which increases the damage they take. So it helps you out and it helps the team out, and everyone can work together to take down the same target. All right. And then the last one is that, as a sniper, I already kind of mentioned it, but the main goal of the sniper is to take down the ranged units. Now, I know I said before in my previous set of videos about sniping and bug priority. Well, it's kind of changed over time, and I like to now think of it as attacking targets of opportunity and not just like a tier list, because that kind of just locks you into a very narrow mind frame or mindset in this frame. And before I said you got to go after like the gunners, infernos, and grenadiers, and then everything else, right? Well, here's my new take on it. For example, if you see a gunner not doing anything, not shooting, then you can leave it alone for a second and then reassess the battlefield. What else do you see? Let's take, for example, you see an inferno bug that's lining up a bunker where a couple of troopers are at, and it's locking that position down. In that case, you'd want to go after the inferno and take it down as quick as you can, right? Another example would be, well, what if an Inferno and Grenadier are lining up one particular situation and you see gunners attacking another position, right? Well, in that case, the gunners are going to be quicker to take out, so take them out. Sometimes they're going to be one or two, sometimes they're going to be a cluster of them. So take those out because they're going to be one-hit kills, and then once you eradicate them, then turn your sights onto the Grenadiers and Infernos, right? So it all kind of like depends, right? And ultimately, it's up to you to take the shot, and hopefully you're able to help the team out. But that what I just described to you is kind of like my philosophy when it comes to sniping nowadays. And so far, I think it's working out pretty well. And hopefully, that can help you out if you're kind of stuck, on the fence about like which target you should prioritize first. So keep in mind, it's all about tax of opportunity here. All right. Okay, so the next one is going to be for the Ranger. All right, so the first one is ideally, you should be patrolling the perimeter of the base, and when base breaches do happen, you should respond to it as soon as possible. With the Ranger being the most mobile class, you have the capacity and the capability to go and be the first responder in those situations, right? And sometimes having one extra trooper defending a base breach will make all the difference. Because you need to give time for the engineer to get into that location, defend them while they're repairing the downed wall. So do your best, patrol the base, or patrol the outer perimeter of the base, I mean, and help out in those situations. And also go after any large cluster of bugs, because the more bugs in one location means the faster a wall will go down. So do your best to keep those situations to a minimum. Okay. All right. Next one is do your best to remember to place scan beacons where the bugs will attack the most and where they spawn. All right. You can also put these in choke points. Now, it does take a bit of experience and know-how to figure out where the bugs will spawn. Some people just memorize it just right off the bat, but some people, like me, kind of need to play a few waves to get a feel for where they will be spawning in from. So once you kind of dialed in where they're coming from, then go ahead and place the scan beacons there. Like probably the last 10 seconds of a build phase, or build phase where you're repairing and building the base. You can also spend the first 5-10 seconds doing that in the combat wave, but just know that the bugs will be kind of chomping you at that point. But why should you place these scan beacons? Well, it increases the damage that the bugs take, and it highlights them in a red outline. It's going to be very, very helpful in low light settings, or like in thunderstorms, snowstorms, pitch black, nighttime. All these scans will alert the troopers that, hey, the bugs are coming from these locations. Go and eradicate them, right? And hopefully that is beneficial to the whole team, that they're actually paying attention to those. All right, next tip. Avoid fighting in areas that have a large slope in the terrain. Jump jets don't work very well when you try to go up a steep hill or a slope. Yeah, it's not so good. So you can really experience this if you're playing on I forget the names of the particular locations, but Valaka has a lot of them. Um, Boreas has some. South Boreas, when you're on that southern plateau, then you're trying to go up the hill. And then if you happen to go down near the ice bridge and then you're trying to come back up that big slope, you're going to have a hard time jump jetting above it. You're actually going to get like maybe 1 or 2 meters and you're going to get stuck, and then you're just running again. So ideally try to avoid the situations. If you want a kind of like a sterilized environment to test that out in, go to the VR training simulator. Where that large gate is, that's a pretty big slope. Try jump jetting on top of that from the very bottom. You're going to encounter a little bit of a resistance, and you'll see what I mean when you can't really jump jet up a slope very well. You might be able to have larger success if you double jump jet. But what I've been talking about is using one charge. So yeah, just be careful with that. Okay, the next one is Pocket Medic. So, what I said before about, this class having the highest mobility out of all the other classes, well, use that to your advantage. You can turn yourself into kind of like a medic if you grab yourself a bunch of first aid stims. Obviously, you want some for yourself, right? But you also should do your best to go out and revive troopers that have been downed by the bugs, right? But especially for situations where a trooper gets blown apart by a grenadier or a bombardier, sometimes when that explosion occurs, the ragdoll will kick them out of the base, like 100 to 300 meters. So when that happens, do your best to get to them as quick as possible, get them back up on their feet so that they can get back into the game. I know, like, it sucks to have to go all the way out there, but you want to make sure you have all the players up on their feet, right? And plus, that person will greatly appreciate it because now they don't have to wait, like, X amount of minutes to, start actually playing the game again. So remember, this is a cooperative team game, and everybody should have the chance to continue playing. Right, the last gameplay tip. The greatest strength of the Ranger is its mobility. I keep repeating that repetition is key here. But here's another reason why mobility can be used as an advantage for this class. Right? Ideally, you should be fighting outside of the base. Right? I know it's a little scary, but because of your jump jet, you will have a lot of mobility. You'll be able to kite the bugs like non-stop. What do I mean by kiting, right? Maybe you're not familiar with that term. That's okay. Let me explain it to you. Kiting is a tactic where you go up to an enemy and you try to lure them and force them into an attack, and then you dodge and or evade it. And you keep repeating this process where you provoke them to do the attack, and then you dodge and evade out of the way. That's kiting. So you want to do this tactic to large clusters of like warriors. Sometimes you also want to do this to tiger packs, royal guards, because those things can put a really big beating on the base. The individual warrior may not deal a lot of damage, but if a large pack of 5 to 10 or more gets on a wall, that wall's going to crumble real fast, right? So if you can prevent them from getting to the wall by kiting them, then you'd be helping the team out. You'll be alleviating the pressure on the walls to defend it, right? That'll give people in some sectors of the base time to repair it, or they can shift some of their focus to other sectors of the base that are getting hit really, really hard to defend those sections, right? These same tactics and ideas apply to tigers and royal guards, right? So that's something every ranger should try to do, right? You don't want to fight inside the base. You're actually being a detriment to the team if you do, right? Because your scans will have the greatest effect if you can place them side of the base where the bugs are coming in, choke points, things like that I already mentioned, and the one that you have on your helmet, those will be able to help take down the bugs, not just for you, but for the other troopers that might be seeing you doing the little ballerina dance when you're jump jetting around the field kiting these bugs. Alright, so that's all the tips I got for the Ranger in Horde mode. Okay, so the next one is going to be the Demolisher. This is a really cool class. I'm sure a lot of people have fun with it. Alright, so gameplay tip 1. What kind of grenade do you want to use? Alright, so let's talk about the grenades. The cluster is good for stunning bugs at close to kind of medium range. It's more effective at close range because the further it goes, the harder it is to time the detonation, because it takes like a few seconds for it to be thrown out, pop, and then the little submunitions pop, and then finally the explosions, right? So that's cluster grenades. Really good for kind of stopping a bug stampede. Especially more so in like later waves, like 6 to 10. You'll be seeing a lot a lot more bugs in those waves, and be able to pause, put the brake on that stampede is going to help the base defenders out. Alright, what about the other grenades? The napalm grenade. Very useful to keep bugs out of a base breach or even a bunker that has been destroyed. Typically, the bugs will not cross the fire that is produced from the napalm grenade. If you can pop this on a bunker before the bugs have a chance to, enter the blueprint zone, that's going to allow an engineer to repair that bunker very easily, right? If a bug exists inside a blueprint zone for any structure, really, they're not going to be able to repair it, right? That's just how the game works. And this is also really good for base breaches, because that's going to keep the bugs on the outside. You don't want the bugs on the inside, right? So with the X amount of seconds you can keep the bugs out, it's going to allow the engineer more time to get to there and close that gap. Alright, what about the last grenade? The best grenade, the lure grenade. So this one, it's really, really good, because wherever the grenade detonates, it's gonna attract the attention of nearby bugs. Now, sometimes you can see this really like drastically happen, where someone pops it off near a trooper that's actively getting like punched at, and the bugs are going to go for that lure grenade. So good places are to throw this in a tight cluster of bugs. That's going to really slow them down, especially if there's like a lot of bugs behind them. The bugs they can't walk through each other. They can't walk over each other unless they're already dead. So if you can hit that front line of a horde wave, it's going to slow everything down behind it, because they can't, traverse over or through them. So that's why the lure grenade is really good. Use it the same way you kind of use it for a napalm grenade. Throw it out beyond the base breach, and throw it out beyond bunkers. That will give the engineers time to respond to those locations and get those things repaired. My goodness. Alright, next one. Place demo charges and nukes outside of the build zones and in choke points. Also, if you know where the bugs are spawning in, go ahead and put those in the spawn points for where the bugs are. You'll be able to rack up a lot of kills very rapidly. All right. And also, if you can't get out to those situations, or not situations, to those locations, you could just pop them down in the middle of a combat situation where there's a massive wave of bugs incoming. You should be able to place the demo charges pretty quickly now because you could just toss them. And if anything gets within like a couple of meters of them, you can just detonate them right away. Uh, Same kind of principle for the tactical nuke. Although you do need to kind of plan it in advance because it takes like several seconds for you to push the buttons and then toss it. So I'd say plant it as soon as the bugs are within like 5 meters. That way, by the time you throw it, the bugs will be pretty much on top of you, and you can run away, and then the tactical nuke will then attract their attention and get the heat off of you. All right. Next thing I want to mention is that, um, well, this is the next gameplay tip. But the next thing I want to mention is that these demo charges and tactical nukes, they can be used to destroy bug corpses. And that's like one of the responsibilities um, of a demolisher is to take care of bug corpses because they do pile up pretty rapidly sometimes, and you don't want the bugs to climb up and over their fallen comrades and breach the base that way. All right, so to make sure you patrol the base and then kind of just take care of those bug corpses. And while you're patrolling, you might as well take out clusters of bugs too that are actively, engaging the troopers. And hopefully they don't go down and you don't go down, because if you die in horde mode, there's actually no way to respawn unless a medic gets you or someone revives you. But there's no like reinforcement tickets in this game mode. Just a little FYI. Sorry, I had to pause there for a second and get some more. Alright, so the next gameplay tip is you need to find a place to kind of like camp in if you don't want to patrol the base. So good places to camp in are choke points, and this is going to be a little crazy, but sometimes you might even want to stay on top of a tower. Not a tower that's directly next to a mobile HQ, but maybe one that has been built on the outer perimeter of the base. That way, you have a clear line of sight, to the base and to the perimeter. You'll be able to spot base breaches pretty quickly, and the extra elevation, if you're using the grenade launcher, will allow you to shoot the grenades a lot further and easier, because this way you don't have to kind of like um, gauge the distance as hard as you would need to if you're on like ground level, because there is bullet drop in this game, right? So either look for a choke point to camp in or just find a tower that's on the perimeter of the base. If a high elevation terrain is available to you, just like as part of the map, definitely go and do that too. Whatever works, right? Okay, so the last one for the Demolisher, let's talk about the Watkins trigger. Okay, so we all love using Watkins trigger, or at least most of us do. But you got to know that I kind of mentioned already that there's no way to really revive in this game mode unless someone does it for you or a medic gets you up. When you use the Watkins trigger in an active combat wave, you're not going to be able to revive yourself with the Watkins trigger. Right, that would be totally busted, and that's how they kind of built it, right? So just keep that in mind. Don't go crazy with a Watkins trigger. It's actually a really bad perk to use for Horde mode. You're better off using something else, like, for example, prosthetic servos. That's going to allow you to use 2 primary weapons, so you get double grenade launchers, and it's going to allow you to throw grenades further, and it's going to allow you to punch bug corpses and remove them that way. It works very similarly to how the shovel does for the engineer, and you'll never need to reload, right? You got your irons. Alright, so that's everything for the Guardian. Oh no, not the Guardian, the Demolisher. But we're going to talk about the Guardian next. Alright, so the next one is the Guardian, the tank, the thing that cannot be defeated. Alright, so first one. Should you operate a twin MG turret? A lot of people say you shouldn't, because you should be doing things like attracting aggro and placing your auto turret and having the pheromone perk on to draw the bugs to you. I say, well, that's actually fine. If you're drawing aggro to yourself with a twin MG turret, I think you're actually doing a perfectly fine job. And, some people might say that's a really dumb idea, but I always thought of the Guardian being a perfectly good fit to use the twin MG turret. Right? They got a ton of health, they got a ton of armor, they can take the beating from gunners. Right? Most other troopers wouldn't be able to stand on the turret for very long if stuff is shooting at them. And why should it be a problem to attract the bugs to where the turret is? The turret can be really good at killing bugs at close to medium range. So I really do think that a Guardian on a turret is a really good idea. Just make sure you have someone reloading the ammo for you. Alright, the next thing is, if you're not going to be on a turret, then you kind of need to be mobile and patrol the base. So far, if you've been following along with the video, not skipping anything, you'll find that I'm saying a lot of these gameplay tips is revolving around patrolling the base, right? It's a reoccurring theme for this video. So why should the Guardian patrol the base too? Well, again, it's to respond to base breaches. So if a base breach does occur, then you need to get down into the breach, and then when you're on ground level, plant yourself a little bit behind the blueprint zone, and then pop your siege mode shield. That way, the first thing the bugs are going to encounter is you, the tank. You can take the hits, and you can survive. A lot of other troopers wouldn't be able to do that. And if you time it and you want to hold on the activation, if a bug gets within a meter of you, it probably has like a 1 to 3 meter radius kickback when you activate it. But if you want to be sure, wait until they get within like a meter of you and then pop the shield. That will actually knock them back pretty significantly. and it's going to stun them for a few seconds. And it's a 360, degree bubble this can happen in. So either plop it down early or plop it down when the bugs are about to get to you within a meter. Right, and then you stay in that shield mode, the siege mode, until the engineer can get to your position and rebuild the wall. If there's no engineers, well, you kind of need to stay there indefinitely defending that position until you die or until the combat wave ends. Alright. So, yeah, hopefully you don't go down and you continue fighting. Alright, so let's talk about best places to deploy the little mini walls that you can build from utilities and the shock device. Right. If the arc is on the outermost portion of the build zone, I like to call this the weak side of the base because you can only build one layer between the arc and the bugs. Well, then go ahead and build, or I should say, deploy the mini walls, and then activate or I should say, deploy the shock device at that same location, right? That way, it gives the arc an extra little buffer, and the bugs can't get as much access to it if they decide to bum rush that section, because it can and will happen as you're playing the game. Those are admittedly some of the hardest positions to defend because you don't have multiple layers to provide a buffer against the bugs, right? So that's one good place to put them. Another really good place to place these utilities are in locations where you have like a choke point, or where the bugs are kind of hitting the base the hardest. Those will disrupt the pathing for the bugs, and then those precious few seconds that you can buy the team will be enough for them to eradicate them, right? So those are really good situation to place them in. Also, it might be useful to plop these down when a base breach occurs. So don't put it in the blueprint, but put it either behind or in front of the base breach, right? Ideally, you want to put it behind so that you can actually successfully deploy them. I don't think you can deploy these onto bug corpses, so there you go. All right, on to the next gameplay tip. What kind of playstyle do you want to play as? You want it to be the kind that draws a lot of aggro using the bug pheromone perk and the small mini automated turret that you can deploy? Or do you want to be a close range support unit, meaning you shield bash using your siege mode and stunning them, and just using the auto shotgun to really disrupt bug charges? What about being a rescue operator? The Guardian can actually be a pretty decent pocket medic. Get the first aid stems, use the Phalanx perk, and you'll be able to help troopers that are still up. And if a trooper gets downed, you have enough health and armor to take the hits, and then you revive the troopers. You can also run up to a downed trooper, activate the siege ability, and that's going to stun and kick back everything around you. And then you go revive them, either with a first aid stem or just with a regular action button. You can also just, as part of the rescue operator / team support build that I'm talking about right now, you can also stun lock bugs, right? Either with the auto shotgun or with the saw. Those things can really stagger and disrupt bug charges. Well, I wouldn't say a charge because they took that out of the game a long time ago. What I really mean is like stampede, right? You disrupt that front line and everything around it will kind of, have a hard time reacting to it because they can't run through and they can't run on top of each other. Or what about super long range support? The Guardian is actually pretty good at being an anti-gunner, anti-artillery unit, right? All you need to do is just equip the sniper rifle, if it's already been max leveled, of course. You can use the regular standard rounds or you can use the explosive rounds. Either one will be good for taking down these ranged units. Alright, so those are just some examples of the different playstyles that you can play with as the Guardian. But most importantly, let's talk about the last gameplay tip. The one that everybody really needs to pay attention to. That's going to be watch out for ranged units when you're in siege mode. You don't want to be locked into the siege mode indefinitely because there's a good chance a bombardier will sneak up on you and detonate right on top of your head. I've seen it happen and it sucks. It's happened to me, it's happened to other troopers I've seen, and sometimes with the bombardiers, that explosion can throw people to the other side of the map, the other side of the base, or even off the map itself. So reduce those situations as much as possible, right? This also goes for Infernos and Grenadiers. Those bugs love lining up a Guardian that's in a siege mode for a long time. I don't know if it's intentional that they do it, but it happens. It's happened to me. It's happened to other people. And I've seen people get killed for it. So make sure that you don't stay in siege mode all the time. If you are going to be in there for an extended amount of time, look around the battlefield. Use your environmental awareness. Look up, look around, look side to side. And I guarantee that you will see something coming at your face, and it won't be pretty. It's going to be a bombardier, it's going to be plasma, it's going to be fire. That's going to end your run really quick. Alright, that's everything for the Guardian. Okay, let's now talk about the Engineer. Alright, so first gameplay tip. A large part of the engineer's responsibility is clearing out bug corpses. Most of the time it takes one hit with a shovel, and anything larger like say a tiger and a royal guard, it's going to take several hits. But if you're just a regular trooper with a knife, that's a no-go. It's going to take a lot more swings. So as an engineer, having this melee option, well, it's really good, and it's one of their core strengths. Alright, so when should you be doing this? You should be doing this in a build phase if nothing needs to be repaired or rebuilt, or even built itself. Most times, you're not going to have that opportunity to do that because the build timers are very significantly shorter than they have been before, the last several updates that came out that drastically changed the way Horde is operating. Right, so if that's usually a no-go, then when's a good time to do that in? Right, sometimes there's going to be very small gaps in combat. It also depends on the map. Alright, so if you find yourself in that kind of situation and you don't need to do any repairs using your class ability, then go ahead and start removing some of the bug corpses, especially in the areas where it has like a large pile up. Do that so you can prevent the bugs from climbing up and over the base. You don't want them to breach that way. Alright, it'll be a lot harder to contain that breach because you can't shoot at the bug corpse to make it go away. You either need an explosive from a Demolisher, or need a Demolisher and or an Engineer to get rid of them using their melee action. Alright, next gameplay tip. Reinforced repairs and powered up build tool. These are the two things you need to use when you're playing as an engineer on Horde mode. This stuff will allow you to build things faster, allow you to repair things faster, and give things more durability. So this is really great for situations where you see a wall go down. Let's think of this in terms of like this is the last 4 walls around the mobile HQ, and the walls are starting to fall down. You activate your class ability, you start repairing the walls. You'll actually be able to keep pace with the damage output that the bugs will produce, and it's really ideal for you to equip these perks. It's so vital. It's so handy. All right. So the next one is going to be all those things that you can build as an engineer outside the base, like the lights, the ammo crates, ammo stockpiles, the small walls. Do those things. Place the lights, on the outer portion of the base, or even on top of like some kind of like object, like a shipping container, things like that, right? Do that especially in low light situations, like pitch black, nighttime, thunderstorm, sandstorm, ash storm. That's going to improve the visibility for the troopers. Right, and I know we always get access to ammo and ammo stockpiles just from the ore that we can get each wave, but sometimes we're not gonna have that ore. People build up everything really fast, right, and use everything. Well, as an engineer, you can make these ammo crates, ammo stockpiles outside of the base. Usually, you don't see people do it too often because they just get stuck in a mindset of like everything inside the base, right? I'm not going to use my class ability. But those things are pretty important that you should do this like, all the time. Save that ore for the team to use it for something else, or in emergency situations where there is no more ore, but you still need some ammo, right? Same thing for small walls. If you're on the weak side of the base, which I've already mentioned already, but just in case you missed it, if you're on the weak side of the base where the arc just happens to be deployed on the very outer edge of the build zone, you only have one wall separated from the bugs, well, build 3 rows of small walls outside of the arc, or not the arc, same principle though. Outside the mobile HQ, I'm saying arc. We're on horde mode here. But build, 3 walls of short walls outside of the mobile HQ, and that will absolutely disrupt the pathing for the bugs. And I mean, you get like access to 15 of them, or not 15, like 30 of them. I'd say make 3 very long rows of like 15 short walls. Not 15, 5 short walls. Make it 30. And see if that's enough to disrupt the pathing. Alright, if it's a large enough footprint, the bugs are gonna just walk around it to a different section of the base. Right. Definitely worth experimenting with. I've already experimented with it. I know it can work, but you don't see people do this very often. All right. Let's see what else. That's it. All right. So next one is going to be the gear. What's in your loadout? Are you going to be using napalm grenades? What about prox mines? The proximity mines? What about the shock beacon? Those things are going to allow you to keep bugs out of base breach zones, keep them from getting any further inside the base, or if they're already in a kill zone and you throw a napalm grenade on them, well, you're going to get a lot of XP out of that. Prox mines are really good for guarding a critical asset, for example, the mobile HQ. So if you don't have any more short walls, you can place these outside of the mobile HQ, and hopefully that protects the weak side of the base. In that particular situation I described earlier, of course. But they're also good inside a kill zone and guarding any base breach, right? What about actual weapons? Grenade launcher. The napalm round is really good. It can deal damage to the bugs over time if it doesn't die in the one direct hit and from the explosion, but anything that's set on fire will also take damage. Also, if you happen to shoot these into a bug corpse, the explosion isn't going to destroy the bug corpse, but the fire from the napalm will. It'll take several seconds for it to destroy. It's very slow, but it's possible. What about the flamethrower? Something that's like natively available to this class. Right? If you throw on the custodial training perk with this class, you're gonna get by default 100% extra bug corpse damage, and that's gonna allow you to really just destroy a large amount of bug corpses in a matter of seconds. Really great for getting a little extra XP too. All right, there is a ammo type. I forget what it's called. Let me take a look. Give me a second. Oh yes, it's called additive solvents. So that is going to also increase the damage to bug corpses by 50%. I think that's a little excessive. Having just the custodial training perk is more than enough to get rid of the bug corpses with a flamethrower. So I like using the volatile mixture in its place. Why? Because most times when a large bug corpse pile builds up, there's going to be bugs inside that corpse pile, around it, or on top of it. So having extra direct damage is going to allow you to not only kill the bugs that are still alive, but it's going to also allow you to get rid of the bug corpses all at the same time. So it's kind of like a good general purpose combo right there. All right. Next thing is the last gameplay tip, the most important one. Pay attention to this. Patrol the base and use your class ability to repair walls during the combat wave. Right. A bad engineer is one that gets stuck in just shooting and fighting. If you just want to do shooting and fighting, then pick a different class. Go with a guardian. Go with a sniper. Go with hell. You can even go, a demolisher and just go ooga booga with explosions, right? A guardian would be really good too. Anything that's not a engineer or a medic, right? These classes are support roles and they really need to be on top of their environmental awareness. Right, so pivot around, look around the base, go on patrols, look for base breaches, close them up, using your class activated ability. Right, you don't want to be stuck on an MG as well. You don't want to be using turrets at all. You leave that for other classes because if you're using it, you typically get stuck in the mindset of like, oh, I just want to shoot all the bugs. Right? It's really fun. It's really cool. It is fun and cool, but you need to take a step back, then just look around the base because you're the only class that can repair structures during an active combat wave because of your class ability. If you're not repairing and building, then you're a terrible engineer, and you should switch to a different class if you just want to go ooga booga. All right. I hate to be mean, but it's true. All right, so that's everything for the engineer. Okay, let's talk about the last set of tips. This is going to be for the medic. All right, so let me ask a question. What kind of playstyle do you want to play as? You want to do close, medium, long range? Are you going to be someone that does a lot of healing only? Or are you going to be someone that does healing and reviving as like general support, right? Well, playstyle wise, ideally, you want to use weapons that can allow you to hit things at medium to long range. Shotguns are cool and all that, but typically you have to wait for the bugs to get to the base. So if you want to contribute in some way in combat as a medic, you probably want to use rifles and things like that to hit bugs at longer distance. Also, if you're stuck on the idea of like what kind of medic you want to be, well, let me tell you. There are some medics that are out there that use the Guardian drone plus the Stim Dart. That's one valid way to play. You'll be able to heal and revive at range with the Stim Dart. The medic will always have access to the UAV drone, so they're still able to revive people. And then the Guardian drone will be able to help defend base breaches, or you can even send this to go and attack long distance gunners, grenadiers, and infernos. And then you got the other kind of medic where they're leaning more into the support role. They'll have a stim dart with a stim fabricator or a first aid stim fabricator. Ideally, that's the best set of utilities that a medic should be using, because the stim dart can be used to heal and revive from ranged. And the first aid stim fabricator allows you to revive troopers in close proximity, right? The stim dart isn't always going to work because it's very inaccurate, and bug corpses can and will get in the way of the shot landing on your intended target. Bug corpses, other troopers, the environment like rocks, dirt, mounds, those things can get in the way. So having access to first aid stims is really vital, right? And this also gives other people an opportunity to heal themselves and then pick up other troopers. Yes, they're taking your job from you a little bit, but giving everyone the opportunity to help you keep the team up is actually really good. So don't be in the mindset of being greedy in this game. This is a cooperative game where everybody needs to work together. There's going to be some overlap in job duties, and that's perfectly fine. It'll just mean that everyone is working well together like a well-oiled machine. Alright, so let's move into the second gameplay tip, building more on the idea of your gear and loadout, right? Weapons, what should you be using, right? Sometimes it depends on the map. Sometimes you can't use a flamethrower, especially for an Agni Prime or on the Sparta. You have fire warriors and infernos that will not take any fire damage, so if that's the case and you want to be close range support, then consider using shotguns or even e-pulse weapons. Though, depending on how you build the e-pulse weapons, they can hit long range, short range, and medium range. If you want to do medium and long range, well, you can consider using any of the rifles. You can even consider using, like I said, the e-pulse weapons. If you want to be very long range support, you can use the sniper rifle or the Hawkeye. Those are all great options for you to use. But ultimately, it's up to you. Whatever weapon you choose will be fine. You just need to know of the range limitations on some of them. All right. Utilities. Now, like I mentioned earlier, the best medic setup is first aid stim fabricator and the stim dart. I already talked about the strengths of those and the negatives about them. But some other stuff that you might want to consider is the combat stim. Probably not a lot of use like inside of Horde mode because it's primarily used to give everyone a boost to their running speed, but it does provide regenerative healing over time. So it's great and all, but it will never actually save someone from a downed state. Alright, so here's the major difference between the two stims. The first aid stim can instantly heal people, can instantly revive people, whereas the combat stim can't do any of that, right? It can heal over time, it's a little slow, so it's not going to be able to keep up with damage if they keep getting hit by something. And it's not going to be able to revive people. That's just not what it does. So I think that out of these different healing items, the first aid stim fabricator is the go-to utility. There's also the heal beacon. Every couple of seconds, they'll heal everything in the in the bubble that it provides, but it doesn't heal people up all the way. Only like a certain amount, right? And if you're actively getting set on fire, or even getting hammered by a gunner bug, it's not going to be able to keep up with the damage output. So again, it's cool to have. It's really great for guardians because they can just stay in the siege mode, but I just don't think it's as useful as like a stim dart and a first aid stim fabricator can be. All right. So that's the gear. That's the weapons. Next thing I want to talk about is patrolling the base and reloading turrets and babars. Alright, so let's talk first about patrolling the base. Right. As a medic, you shouldn't be fighting all the time. You need to kind of just like look around, make sure everyone's healed up, right? But also, as you're looking around, you want to look for gaps in the base, things that have been broken down, call those out so the team knows. And then if bugs are pouring in from those locations, then you help with base defense in those zones. You kind of need to think about yourself as being, backup, a reinforcement unit when things start to fall down for the base. All right. The next thing is that while you're patrolling, look for any turrets and babars, the marauders that need to be reloaded. Not a lot of people do this, and the operators usually end up being the ones to reload their own stuff, right? So if you can, prevent them from going, doing that themselves, you're reducing their downtime of like operating these equipment, allowing them to then shoot for longer. That's going to go a long way in helping out with base defense. All right. Moving into the next gameplay tip here. Where is the best place to deploy the first aid stim fabricators. Well, you want to put these in parts of the base where there's like a lot of action, a lot of combat. Other times, what I like to do is put one near the mobile HQ. Typically, there's going to be 3 walls and a gate. I like to put one outside of the gate, not inside next to the mobile HQ, because there's not a lot of room in there, and well, not a lot of people are going to see it unless they're like someone that's like spawning into the game, right? So put one outside. You can also put one next to ammo crates. That's going to be a usual gathering spot for people that are just going to go there, naturally to get more ammo and utilities. Also, another really good place is putting it on high elevation terrain that has like access from like a tower. Usually, you're gonna see these things in Acme Prime on certain maps, Valaka, like the top of the garage. People usually put a ladder to go up there, or even a wall, and then you can climb up through that way. So those are natural gathering spots that people will be fighting in. Also, you can just place these on the ground outside of a bunker. People usually pass by the bunkers a lot, either fighting on top, typically, or inside of it. So those are some really great places that you can deploy the first aid stim fabricators. Okay, let's move into the last gameplay tip, the most important one of them all. Alright, we've seen it, I've seen it, it sucks, you know it sucks. It's medics that don't medic, alright? Bad medic is one that's fighting way too much. Hate to see it, I really do. It makes medics look bad, and it gives us primary medics, the people who main medics, a really bad rep. Alright, so you don't want to be fighting all the time. That's not your job. Other troopers can do that. Your primary role on the battlefield is to look for downed troopers and pick them back up using your drone or your utilities. Also, you also should be preventative in your actions, meaning that if you see someone with low health, you need to heal them up. That's going to reduce their downtime from looking for a first aid stim fabricator or even switching out to a stim they may already have on their gear. So that's preventative actions. You don't want to be a mech that's always reactive, meaning you react to a situation where someone's already, knocked out. You want to prevent that from happening. I know it's not, possible to do it all the time, but you really need to do your best to make sure people are healed up and revived as fast as possible. Sometimes, some situations, they'll snowball out of control, then one trooper down turns into 2, then turns into 3, 4, 5, 6, and so on. And then, well, the medic is overwhelmed and they can't get everybody to back up. And then, well, everyone's mad at the medic naturally, right? So do your best to prevent that situation from happening. Alright. So, again, don't fight all the time. Don't be on a turret. Don't be in a babar. You need to be on the ground, on the balls of your feet. You need to pivot around a lot, work on your environmental awareness. You want to look around the base, make sure everyone's doing okay. And if everyone's doing okay, then you can go back and shoot for, a minute or two and then break off from combat. Look around again. Does anybody need health? Does anybody need to be revived? Alright. So, hopefully that gives you an idea of how to become a better medic. Alright, so that's all the gameplay tips. I know this is a very long video. Hopefully the idea is that these will give you a leg up on the bugs, and you can really put the hurt on them, and this levels up your play skills, right? Gives you a better play experience in the game. Alright, so before you head out though, I appreciate it if you can help me out by liking the video, sharing any tips through the comments. I'm sure I missed some. I can't talk about every single thing, but if you think of anything that can be helpful for other people, definitely put it in the comments. People read these things. And most importantly, if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, subscribe to the channel, change that notification to all. That'll let you know when videos like these go up. But it also tells the algorithm that, hey, rabidrabbit has some stuff that's helping people out. Help spread the awareness and help the algorithm share this with other people that are playing this game. Alright. And if there's any more of the gameplay footage still playing, go ahead and watch the rest of it. Alright. But until next time, troopers, I hope you stay safe and well, and I'll see you in the battlefield. Peace out, homies.
Attack in the eastern quadrant. Brimstone 1, sensors are indicating the wave has been exterminated. Repair the base in preparation for the next assault. A new wave is about to arrive. Warm it up, troopers. Give it everything you got.
Grenade out!
Vital signs critical. been eradicated. Great work, Brimstone 1. Take a breather and rebuild for the next wave. Lock and load, troopers. A new wave is about to hit your position. First aid administered.
On the map.
Zone is stabilized.
Changing mag. Heads up, grenade out. Changing magazines.
Yeah, leave this up, man. Fuck. You're doing way too much, man.
Returning to the Gurren now.
Chill the fuck up. Shut up, man. Wait, 50 minutes.